Why am I talking about Fantasy Life I months after the game was already released and it's kind of irrelevant? Well, I just got hit with a takedown request. This is unprecedented for me because this is the first time that my channel has ever gotten a request from the developers to delete a video. And it was my review for Fantasy Life I want this to be a sort of warning to other content creators to be very cautious with what you cover with this game. Of course, with YouTube, it doesn't end up explaining what the takedown request is complaining about in the first place. So I did some digging and it turns out that it's actually against Fantasy Life or Level 5's terms of service to showcase any of the endgame stuff. The irony of this whole situation is that I purposely don't ever include endgame content in any of my reviews for, well, not for this reason, but just because I don't want to spoil stuff for people. So what did they end up grabbing me for? Showing the end credits. Like, technically it's the end game, but how is that spoiling anything? That's so like, oh my God, dude, how obnoxious. This wasn't the case of somebody doing a falsified claim that they didn't own the video or anything. This was literally the developers went out of their way. They must have seen my video and just boink, no, take that video down. So here's the actual like cease and desist message I got. And for context, for those of you that don't know, what a takedown request is very, very different than a copy claim, because a copy claim is when basically someone says, hey, what you're actually uploaded, that's mine. So I'm going to take all the revenue, but we'll keep it on the platform. In most cases, that'll end up happening with music or canned cutscenes or media cutscenes, like related to like trailers and stuff, depending on how greedy the company is behind it. YouTube already has all sorts of ways of getting around this because you can just mute the music, erase that segment of the video, whatever. And in fact, I could have very easily just trimmed out the segment that they didn't like in my review, and the review would have just been relatively untouched. When they ended up issuing this, I could send a response to them that would basically ask, what do you want me to do about it? But by the time I would end up hearing a response from them, especially because they're in Japan, which would mean I probably would have to Google Translate stuff, in 7 days from the issued takedown request, if I didn't delete the video, YouTube would remove it and give me a copy strike. And a copy strike is big because if you get 3 of those across your channel, doesn't matter if you've been on this platform for over a decade like me, or other people that have been on the platform longer, your channel just gets deleted. That's it. Everything's gone. Not only like my whole livelihood, but my 10,000 plus videos that I worked on over the years. So suffice to say, it was a very serious situation. So I just ended up deleting that. And I also ended up making the ending of the game where I was fighting the final boss and stuff. I made that private because I didn't want them to eventually grab that. And you guys might end up noticing today that I'm going to re-upload my review, but I'm going to remove the 5-second segment at the beginning that showed the end credits. It's going to be the exact same review. I know that because the game is kind of irrelevant at this point, people aren't going to watch it, but screw these guys. Now, I actually enjoyed Fantasy Life, but stuff like this just completely sours my experience and makes me just not want to cover it in the future. Not that I had any big plans to come back to the game or anything, because it gets really boring once you get to the end game. But they were adding like a new DLC roguelike open world mode, and I 100% will not be covering that now. I was kind of excited about it, and I might still play it myself, but I might also just boycott it out of spite. Such a shame, man. I don't know what it is with some developers not wanting their game to be shown. I mean, I can understand the sentiment of them not wanting endgame stuff spoiled for people. I totally understand that. It's very frustrating if somebody ends up having like the final boss in the thumbnail. But being one of the few people on this platform that respects you guys, the viewer, it means that I don't go for cheap tricks like that, which incidentally is probably why my channel is not as popular as it should be. But to claim the credits, and for a game that's already been out for like how long? Like, come on, dude. The only other instance that I saw of somebody dealing with this was another content creator that basically had to remove like an hour-long video of them beating the game. If this was something that ended up getting claimed right away while the game was still hot, I would totally understand. But the fact that it's so far down the pipeline of this year just makes me like scratch my head. Anyways, that was scary and it made me very mad. So I wanted to vent about it and share it with you guys. And also, again, just give a warning to other content creators to, I'm not saying don't cover the game, but just be careful because these devs clearly are kind of scummy, at least in terms of like sharing creative content with people. Totally makes sense. They're a Japanese company, and I don't know why Japan is only recently getting the hang of the idea of content creators existing and basically being free marketing. Like Nintendo already had this issue years ago where they had a specific content creator program. All of your videos would automatically get grabbed, and then you had to send it through that program for them to manually approve it. That's how long I've been on this platform. But even then, I never got a takedown request. That is like insane to me. Like, just to add a little bit more context to the situation for a viewer, I've gotten plenty of false claims on videos where they basically go, hey, that music that you're using, yeah, we got that on our SoundCloud, so it's ours legally. And I already know for a fact that they don't own the rights to the music. It's just these scum companies that basically upload Nintendo songs, for example, to SoundCloud so that the YouTube bot will automatically grab any videos that have that sound or music, right? Most content creators will usually just end up deleting the video or just removing the music. In most cases, I'll argue with them because if they did want to take it all the way to court, they've got nothing. In most cases, they'll just end up dropping it. But the big problem that's happened over the years is if you end up doing something like that, where you tell them like, no, you don't own the rights to this, basically they have 30 days to respond. And during that time, depending on how YouTube's feeling that day, they'll keep taking revenue from your video. In some cases, you'll just start getting the revenue until they respond. But with a takedown request, this is a very serious, like borderline legal issue where they are telling you delete this video or we'll do it for you, and then we'll give you a strike on your channel. I don't mean to make a really long, lengthy, ranty video about this, but this is just, again, this really, really frustrated me, especially when I praised the game so positively. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. Technically, yeah, the credits are part of the end of the game, but who does that? Who has that in their freaking, like, upload video clause? You can't show anything about the end game in a grind fest where the game literally just copy and paste early game enemies with a new color palette for the end game. Like, what is there to show? What is there to spoil in a game like this of all things? Now I'm just getting heated. Oh man. Okay. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it, guys. I just, watch the new review if you don't mind, just to help me out, or at least leave a like on it, or leave a like on this video. Never mind the review. I don't care if that doesn't get any views. I'm still gonna upload it anyway. Leave a like on this video so other content creators can know about this and just kind of avoid this game.